we first the win the scheme. We come here again. Coalition for democratic change. Now the whole country champion they coming so. You better move on the road. I said you better move your foot. You keep raising your away. You can't fit. Better get away. You can't fit. Yeah, say I'm morning go.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself, and welcome to today's edition of the CDC Hour. The CDC Hour is a 1 hour provocative program all about looking into the activities of the Congress for Democratic Change, the CDC, Liberia's biggest mass-based political institution. It comes your way every Monday, Wednesday, Friday by 6:50 in the evening on your on your favorite dial, Kings FM 88.5 and Cloud TV. Today is Monday, April 28, 2025. I'm your host, Ishaka Sharif. I come back after a bit of optimism.
Y'all move on the road, the punch giant ready to take over. Y'all move on the road, Papa coming again. Y'all move on the road, Papa Georgie coming again. Y'all move on the road, Mama Joe coming.
Thank you so much and welcome back. Today we'll be delving into the continuation of information on the due payment that was launched on April 12, 2025 at the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change. The due payment started on April 12th. It was launched, on April 12, 2025 by His Excellency Dr. George Manewe, former President of the Republic of Liberia, and also we'll be also discussing on other national issues that affect the democracy of our country. The due payment, as it began on April 12, 2025, seeks to appeal to partisans, to move partisans to pay dues of varying amounts based on the category they find themselves in. So, for example, we have 16 categories of people in the CDC who are to pay dues. Number one, we have the National Executive Committee, who are entitled to pay 100 United States dollars or its equivalent in Liberian dollars. The CDC Legislative Caucus, made up of lawmakers from the Senate and the House of Representatives. The members of the Senate are to pay 500 United States dollars or its equivalent in Liberian dollars. Members of the House of Representatives are to pay 300 United States dollars or its equivalent in Liberian dollars. Former ministers and heads of agencies are to pay 100 United States dollars. Former deputy ministers and deputy heads of agencies are to pay 50 United States dollars. Former assistant ministers and directors are to pay 30 United States dollars or its equivalent. Members of the National Women's League and the National Youth League executives are to pay 10 United States dollars or its equivalent. Senior party stalwarts are to pay 10 and 20 United States dollars or its equivalent. County Executive Committee members are to pay 20 United States dollars or its equivalent. District Executive Committee members are to pay 5 United States dollars or its equivalent. National Auxiliary Network executives are to pay 10 United States dollars or its equivalent. Then we have National Auxiliary chairpersons and leadership are to pay 3 United States dollars or its equivalent. We have Zonal Executive Committee members are to pay US $3 or its equivalent. Then we have CDC USA Europe and members of other diaspora chapters, executives are to pay 50 United States dollars or its equivalent. Then we have CDC USA, Europe, and other diaspora members who are just, let's say, ordinary members who are not executive committee members in that, in those diaspora chapters are to pay 20 United States dollars or its equivalent. So these are the categories of people, 16 different categories of people. So if you find yourself in such categories, you pay, you're gonna pay the specified amount. Then most importantly, we have the general grassroots membership. The general grassroots membership of the CDC, meaning I don't want to say ordinary people, but common citizens, okay? Because a lot of people, well, all of us are part of the common citizens movement. So common citizens or ordinary citizens in Town, West Point, Do community and other areas, Oro, wherever you find yourself, where you are not an executive member or you are not in the leadership of the CDC, or whether in the executive committee or district or county or zonal or whatever level. So ordinary Liberian people who are members of the CDC pay $1, $1 United States or its equivalent in Liberian dollars. So these are the categories of people who are to pay dues in the CDC. There are people in different categories that are paying more because they can afford. Those kinds of people, the party accepts that from you because you also want to make your party a viable institution so that your party can be financially independent. Your party can operate freely without going to a particular individual to beg or ask for money. So, because once your party is financially independent, the party is going to operate smoothly within the confines of the law and also use it to do a lot of things. What are the reasons for which people are paying dues? Okay, like we said, the first thing is to give your party financial independence. Secondly, is in such a under such financial independence, we will be able as an institution to do a lot of things, to build party offices, to uh, to fund election, whether by election, whether midterm or national election, other national elections. We are going to use the dues to make sure that once we put somebody on a party's ticket, once once a particular citizen is elected in a primary on a party's ticket, the party will be able to use part of its resources to beef up the strength, the financial strength of that individual who's going to contest in the district or in the county as a candidate of the party. So the party also is going to use such resources to uh, build or lease properties for use of the party in different counties, districts, zones, and other places. Because once we have money, we can build our own offices around the country. We can build our own offices in the county, in different counties like Bone, like Bomi, Makibi, even Monserrado. In some of the districts, we can build our headquarters. Okay, in Cape Mount, in Jide, Grand Jide, in Bassa. Once the party is financially independent, we can do a lot of things. We can do a lot of things freely without being stranded, because once there is no resources, once there is no money, the party gets stranded, and then we'll have to go to start asking individuals for financial resources to meet up with the party's obligation. That is not the reason. And we don't want to do that as an institution. We are a very big political institution that that's supposed to operate independently in spite of all of the challenges that political parties go through in this country. A lot of political institutions would rather wait for their standard bearer or their political leader or other influential members of the party. In fact, candidates that the party puts, that parties put on their tickets, the parties elect on their ticket to contest in election around the country. Some of the parties go as far back as going to those candidates and ask them for money for the running of the party. It is not. It is not always feasible. No, it is not advisable because once you do that, the party will be left behind. And once the party is left behind, there are a lot of things that will be left undone. And this financial independence that we want to give the CDC will create a pathway, a very smooth operational framework for the party to do a lot of things. To do a lot of things. For example, scholarship, sometimes business for uh, downtrodden or some of the least partisans who cannot afford a financial, you know, obligation to start business. For example, the party could look at 5, 10 to 20 people and say, look, these are our partisans. They are struggling too much. And so there is a need to give them some resources to start small businesses. You know, the party thinks in that light. And also, party say, oh, uh, these kids or these people are our, partisans. And so some of them do not have the financial means to go to school to pay their own tuition. So the party is going to offer 20 local scholarship or 25 to 30 local scholarship for partisans across the country. Yes, a party that is not in 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 government, right? We can create that kind of scheme to offer financial aid. It may not necessarily be a scholarship, but to offer financial aid to deserving students. You, you know, if you, deserving students mean once you are a member of the political institution and you are paying your dues regularly, the party can look at you and offer you financial aid to enable you to meet up with your financial obligation in school. So these are some of the reasons partisans are paying uh, dues. Okay, those partisans themselves, they are upbeat, paying that. The dues. They don't have problem. They're not complaining. Other people might complain. People from the other side, from the ruling party, why seditions are paying due. But I don't think that should be much of their business. That if seditions are paying due to their political institution, that it will create so much pain in you, such that you're not able to rest. No, leave us. Our people are the ones that are paying. Our people are the ones that are paying the financial, they're settling their financial obligations to their party. If you go and most importantly, let me state here for the record that the chairman, Attorney Augustus Janga Augustus Cole, right, and members of his National Executive Committee with other organs of the party are assiduously working around the clock to make sure to decentralize this due payment across the districts to the counties so that people who may not be able to come to town, to come to the party headquarters, people who may not have the transport means, okay, the transportation means to come to the headquarters in Monrovia to pay their financial obligation to the party. The party is contemplating, not contemplating, but we are currently working. I'm a member of that committee on publicity that we are working on that so as to make sure to decentralize. When we talk about decentralized, we're talking about bringing the payment of the due to your doorstep. Yes, but before doing that, before coming to the district to decentralize the payment of our dues or the dues of our people, we'll have to set up a very responsible fiscal management team. Okay, we have a current team that is somehow conscripted. If I say conscripted, I mean the team is small. So in order to decentralize, we need to enlarge the team. The party would need to enlarge the team, right? Because we will not be decentralizing due payment into 50 districts or 73 districts across the country, and then we have a small team. No, the party will have to recruit. The party will have to recruit deserving partisans. The party will have to recruit volunteer partisans, right, who are deserving, who have the financial or fiscal responsibleness to be able to help the party to collect our dues from our partisans in the district. The mobile money numbers are there, the bank account numbers are there, and sometimes paying in person is there, the numbers are there also that you can take advantage of to pay your dues. So it is not a one-way street, it is many ways street, right? So you can use the the mobile money account numbers. For example, we have three mobile money account numbers with Lone Star and Orange, respectively. Orange has two different mobile money numbers, both Liberian dollars and US dollars. The Orange mobile money numbers are, you can listen keenly, just listen keenly so I can be able to read it number by number, right? The mobile money account numbers are: first, United States dollars account number, star, you dial star 144 star, dial 253 star 926, 920, 920 6002. Again, star 144 star 253 star 920 6002. The Liberian dollar account number is star 144 star 164 star 920 6002 hatch. Again, the Liberian dollar account number mobile money orange for CDC due payment is star 144 star 164 star 920 6002 hatch. Then we move on to the Lone Star mobile money account number for CDC due payment. Simply dial star 156 star 3 star 0886 097451 hatch. Again, star 156 star 3 star 0886 097451 hatch. Then, if you are not able to pay through mobile money, you can pay through the bank accounts. GT Bank number 1, USD account number 20 33 31 29 32 10. The GT Bank account number in United States dollars is 20 33 31 29 32 10. The Liberian dollar account number, GT Bank CDC due account, is 20 33 31 29 31 10. Again, 20 33 31 29 31 10. The UBA bank account number, CDC due account, is US dollar account number first, 530 303 102603. Again, United States dollars account number, bank account number, UBA, 530 303 102603. The Liberian dollar bank account number is 530 303 102612. Once more, the Liberian dollar account number at UBA is 530 303 102612. If you're not able to pay on any of these numbers, especially when you find yourself in Congo Town around the CDC headquarters, you can simply move to the headquarters, right, to pay in person to the financial team. The finance office is there. If you go there at the finance office, you can simply call these numbers: 0778 227758, 0778 227758, 0886 52 6003, 0886 526 003. 0777, that is 777 8133. Okay, this number has been shared, so you will need to correct it. Okay, the last number is 0886 416637. 0886 416637. So these are the numbers through which you can be able to either pay your dues or to go to the party headquarters and pay your due in person. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the CDC Hour on Kings FM 88.5. If you are just joining us, we are here on the CDC Hour making sure to give seditians and our sympathizers much information as it regards to the due payment and also other information on national issues. Also, if you are there, you can continue playing your King's Cash giveaway on 79 star on star 79 star 229 hatch. on *79 and *24# to win yourself 4,000 Liberian dollars. Just play with Liberian dollars, or its equivalent of 70 cents to win yourself 4,000 Liberian dollars. Don't blame me, I'm not too familiar with that because this is the CDC hour, which got on the radio almost a month ago. So, but you can continue to play *79 and *24# to win yourself 4,000 Liberian dollars by playing 100 Liberian dollars, or its equivalent of 70 cents United States dollars. So, as you were saying, the categories of people, maybe you were not listening to the radio. The National Executive Committee members will pay 100 US dollars, or its equivalent. Uh, CDC Legislative Caucus members, members of the Senate, especially, are paying 500 US dollars, or its equivalent. The House of Representatives, members of the HOR, are paying 300 US dollars, or its equivalent. Former ministers and heads of agencies are paying 100 US dollars, or its equivalent. Former deputy ministers and deputy heads of agencies are paying 50 US dollars, or its equivalent. Former assistant ministers and directors are paying 30 US dollars, or its equivalent. The National Women's League and also the National Youth League executive members are paying 10 US dollars, or its equivalent. Senior party stalwarts are paying 20 US dollars, or its equivalent. County executive committee members are paying 20 US dollars as well, or its equivalent. District executive committee members are paying 5 US dollars, or its equivalent. The National Auxiliary Network executive committee members are paying 5 US dollars, or its equivalent. The National Auxiliary Network the National Auxiliary chairpersons leadership are paying $3, or its equivalent. Zonal executive members in the districts are paying 3 US dollars, or its equivalent. General grassroots members are paying $1, or its equivalent in Liberian dollars. CDC diaspora members who are members of their diaspora chapter executive are paying 50 US dollars, or its equivalent. And CDC diaspora members who are who are general members, or who are ordinary members of the diaspora chapters, are paying 20 US dollars, or its equivalent. So these are the 16 categories of due paying people in the CDC. You can simply move on by going to pay your dues via those numbers that I read earlier. We'll come back to read the numbers during the end of the show. Okay? But it is good that you pay your dues to give the party financial independence. It is good to pay your dues to make sure that the party stands very strong on its own in terms of the finance. It is good to pay your due to make sure that the party build its own party offices across the country. It is good to pay your due to make sure that the party gives, deserving students financial aid and scholarships around the country. It is good to pay your dues to make sure that the party rent facilities for the smooth operation of the party across the district, the county, and the country. It is good to pay a due so as to give the party some financial muscles to plan, to organize, plan, and orchestrate to spend on election. Sometimes by election, sometimes midterm, or sometimes uh, national election. So once the party is in a very strong financial position, we are not going to waver as a party. We are going to be very strong. We are going to be resilient. We are going to be committed to make sure so that your dues can be used for the upliftment of our political institution. Uh, secondly, secondly, the the country the country is at a crossroad. Yes, the country is at a crossroad. While it is true that we have discussed a lot about party paying dues or partisans paying dues, the country is at a crossroad. Our democracy is under attack. The rule of law is under attack, is under stress. Yes. Uh, as you all may know, the House of Representatives, one of the one of the chambers of our bicameral legislature is under, is in a is in an impasse. Yes, it's in an impasse. Impasse meaning they are in a confusion. They have been in a confusion more than 6 months now. And the legitimate speaker, the constitutionally elected speaker, who's the presiding officer of the House, right, has been attempted to be removed illegally by members of a self-styled majority led by District Number 11 Montserrat County Representatives Richard Nagwe Kuhn, and emboldened by the executive branch of government. Emboldened meaning they've been supported, they've been bankrolled, they've been financially supported, morally supported by the executive branch of government. So that has dragged on. That dragged on up to December, especially prior to then when the constitutionally elected speaker went to court, went to the Supreme Court and filed uh, his case. And on December 6th, the Supreme Court ruled that whatever that was done by the majority, the self-styled majority, was ultra vires, meaning they have no authority. Their actions were not supported or are not supported by law. So that ruling, the majority black self-styled, emboldened by the executive, came and said they did not agree with the ruling, that the ruling was vague, it was ambiguous. And some citizens were confused that the ruling was ambiguous, the ruling was not clear. On the basis of that, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Councillor J. Fonati Kofa, filed a bill of information to the Supreme Court to clearly state or to clarify its ruling of December 6. And on April 23, 2025, the Supreme Court, the full bench of the Supreme Court, met and delivered a landmark ruling into the Bill of Information as filed by Councillor J. Fonati Kofa, Speaker of the House of Representatives. In that ruling on the 23rd, the court made it very clear that Councillor J. Fonati Kofa is the constitutionally elected speaker. The court made that one very clear, that Councillor J. Fonati Kofa is the constitutionally elected speaker. But prior to then, the Minister of Justice, who was Attorney General of the Republic, misinterpreted the ruling of the Supreme Court and brought about his own opinion, through which he advised the president and the government. And the president decided to work with the illegal majority bloc that has committed so much pain and agony on the people of Liberia. So in the court's ruling, one of the things the court said, this is directly what the Chief Justice, Her Honor Senyina Yo, said the Attorney General's opinion for which the self-styled majority bloc is acting on is of no relevance to this court. Meaning the Minister of Justice opinion, the Minister of Justice, his interpretation of the court's opinion, the court is saying that it has no impact and it has no basis on the Supreme Court ruling. So the court said the Speaker for Nati Kofa is the legitimate speaker, the constitutional elected speaker. So it says any quorum without the speaker presiding is illegal. It's unconstitutional. It has no appeal of the law. It has no appeal of the law. It has no standing under the law. The direct quote is, according to the Chief Justice, quote, that the conclusion of the Supreme Court opinion and judgment of December 6, 2024, is that any sitting or action by the majority bloc to the exclusion of Speaker J. Fonati Kofa, the duly elected presiding officer of the House of Representatives, while he is present and available to preside, is unconstitutional and without the appeal of the law. So the court is saying, even if Rachel Kuhn has 1,000 members in his self-styled majority bloc, if they meet, that quorum is unconstitutional once the speaker is not presiding while he's available and present to preside. So it's clear. People are running around, oh, the 43, the 49, the 50, the 35. So they meet a quorum. The law says, the Supreme Court ruling says, once that quorum is not presided over by the speaker, it's unconstitutional, except the speaker is absent and unavailable to preside. Then the burden can shift to the deputy speaker to preside. So Rachel Kuhn likes, he can get 1 million people. He can go bring all the Liberian people to fill the house, all the rescue missionaries to fill the horse's chamber. Once the speaker is not presiding over that particular sitting, is illegal, is unconstitutional. So what is left for these guys to understand? What is left for them to understand? And the president, instead of upholding the ruling of the Supreme Court, he went ahead to conscientiously violate it. Willingly, the president has decided not to uphold the law, the Constitution on which shoulders our democracy is built, on which shoulder our democracy is striving. Do we violate the law and go with impunity? No. People who should be making laws should be law-abiding citizens. But if they would go ahead and conscientiously violate the law, then there should be a compelling argument that we go and open all of the prisons. Let's go to South Beach and put all of the prisoners out. Let's go to Zreju. Let's go to Bapolu, Cape Mount, all of the counties. Open the prisons and throw all of the prisoners out. Because they are there today. They are there today, going through the consequences of their action because they violated the laws of our country. Or is it because they are not the big shots? Is it because they are not the ones who are national leaders? So they violate the law holds them accountable, the law holds them responsible. But people who should be making laws and upholding the framework, the constitution and law of our republic, who are now violating the law and going free? Is that what we're saying? As the president, you have to rethink. You have to rethink. But we face, the dangers we face as a country is when these gross violations of our laws are ongoing, investors' confidence in the country is eroded. Investors cannot come because for investors to come to their country, there are several things that they need to do. They read your country profile, the stability of your country, one. Number two, the rule of law, whether the rule of law is working, because it is possible the man comes with his company, sign concession with your government, and then if the government goes ahead and violate violate the terms of the agreement of the concession, the man sees that he cannot go to court, because if he goes to court, even if he wins his case in court, the government could say they're not implementing the court's decision as interpreted by the judiciary. So uh, the man's investment will not be protected. So, in short, if you cannot honor or implement your own law, stand by your own law, how can people come to your country to invest? At the end of the day, we're going to be swimming into this cesspool, you know, of lack of investment in the country. At the end of the day, job creation will become a hurdle. Job creation will become a very huge burden on the government. The country is not already a middle income country where small businesses or medium sized businesses strive to create job for majority of the citizens, majority of our students who are graduating from colleges and universities across the country. But once investors uh, realize that you cannot uphold your own law, you cannot, respect your law, they're not going to come to invest in your country. Remember, what you have to realize is some of those investors who might be opting to invest in your country have some other investments from the countries, from the very countries they're coming from. So they will ask some of the people here, say, "Oh, I mean, how is the investment climate in Liberia?" What would be the answer? My man, we are here, but it's tough because this government does not respect the laws of the country. So we are just here, but our advice is don't come. At the end of the day, those people are not going to come. New investments are not going to flow to the country because the government is not respecting the laws. You can call us on 0772 239933, 0886 304497, or the lone female line on 0777 Again, 0772 239933, 0886 304497, or the female line on 0777 You can start placing your call now as we await the pickup. Do we have a caller?
Hello? Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yeah. Somehow we not pay our due. The launching of the due to the party color. We go pay our due, but we get one receive, we get our due direct boy. We get our paper document.
Okay, you don't have your due book yet. Yes, the day the due payment was launched, due book were not ready to be distributed because it was just a launch of the due payment. So you can inquire. I will read the numbers at the end of the show so that you can start calling those numbers whenever the due book is ready. They will tell you to go for your due book.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think some of the people in our community, the township of West Point, I think most of the
Oh, you saw a deal book with some of the people?
Yeah, someone got a deal book.
Oh, okay. But then you can ask them how they managed to get it. I think they will give you the information so that you can follow suit and get your deal book as well. Thank you. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. How are you, brother?
Yes, I'm doing good. Let's hear you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Video calling from this is 17.
Yeah, welcome to the CDC Hour.
Thank you so much, my brother. You have said it. Everything. Monitor the show and listening to you. It is frustrating in our country when we see how things are happening. People that we expecting to be wise enough to protect the country for both today and tomorrow are people that are now on the rampage, making sure that here that we are going, we see us in. But people that we're looking at to be book people or learn people are people somebody to learn from to do all the right things. They are the police. And because maybe the person is not a minister, so they are now held reliable for the action that they are committed against the Lord. They are now in prison. But now people that are called ministers are breaking the law of this country and they are happy about going on these things. So the issue about that is it is something. And let us just be mindful that the country is for every one of us. So for everything that you do, get it in mind that tomorrow it will haunt you, it will haunt your children. But they are careless about that because they see that yes, indeed, if this action or angerness is built in Liberian people to react of the action that they are doing, Liberia will go into chaotic and they care nothing about that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And we look forward for things to happen in a smooth manner. Liberians are tired with the action that they are carrying on breaking the rule and law of this country.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Hello. Hello, caller. Are you there? Good evening. Let's hear you. 1 minute.
Yeah, okay. You know, it's very painful to see our lawmakers behaving that the way in which they are behaving. They said they put when they took oath. Oh yes, I put my country first. Well, every one of them, what they're doing right now, they're seeking their own interest because of money. Every lawmaker that is looking at the law and putting the law under their feet, trust me, no well for this country. It means no well for this country at all. Their whole intention is to get what they feel they can get. That's why they went into that house for. They never went into that house to represent the Liberian people. They never went into that house to people. You will look at the Supreme Court ruling and tell the people, say you cannot respect the Supreme Court. See so-called Richard Kuhn wrote the Supreme Court. Did he identify this? How did he write the Supreme Court? As speaker, and the Supreme Court as representative. Then the grandpa look at that thing. God wrote the Supreme Court, but he wrote them as representative. And when he was just going to direct write the Supreme Court for that reason.
Okay, you are coming in scrappy.
As speaker, trust me, they are not going to honor it.
You are coming in scrappy.
After you are insulted the Supreme Court, disrespect the Supreme Court, then you go back to them.
Thank you so much.
It makes no sense, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
And let's hear you. 1 minute.
This is Marcelo Macaya, member of the National Progressive Action Movement, one of the biggest, one of the Martin Coalition with democracy.
Let's hear you.
So, let me say thank you. You know, we as a National Auxiliary Movement, one of the party, some of us are leaders, I have a disappointment with the CDC. The reason why I said is we see the government is grossly disrespecting our rules and oppressing our people, putting us into poverty and denigrating our constitution. And yet we are still being diplomacy with people. Yesterday, when we look back when the CDC was in power, we saw where the Unity Party organized within 3 months the June 7th protest on the president. We are some that all us to step down and all us.
But the CDC is not the Unity Party, and we have a country. Everybody has a country to protect. The CDC is standing up. You saw the meeting we held on Thursday or Friday that has waking up the Unity Party and made them to say a lot of different, unorthodox things. The opposition is waking up, not only the CDC in the opposition, though we are ahead of the opposition, but we are waking up. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Let me talk quickly. Yeah. So I agree with you 100%. CDC is not the only opposition party, but we are the leading party, and we also have to encourage the other opposition party, to work along with us so that the government can have little fear when it comes to how they can govern the country. Because when we continue to take, we are taking it. 2029 will be indigenous.
We are not sitting disappointed. We are working.
They are testing the patient in the brain pool. They are testing the constitution. They are testing the water to see what they will do 2029. If we don't take it.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Campaign is the recording of Mary Community Pencil.
Yes, hear you.
Welcome to the CDC rule of law that all the rest gender were put on is now they are coming to respect the rule of law. How investors are going to enter into the country and invest into the country where youth are sporting no money, just increasing on a higher rate? Are they rescue the tribal, rescue the chaos? Jeremiah Kuhn or Richard Kuhn, they are all guys sitting like they there just doing different things, paying lawmakers to remove that sticker. So if Richard Kuhn leave that got a number, okay, click on the ball and get the merging process, they may not refuse him to leave the seat. But he shouldn't be holding the country at hostage that the Supreme Court gives that ruling to respecting the Supreme Court. If the same Supreme Court again or Richard Kuhn is wanting to, you say you already speak already. Then what are you talking about moving somebody again? Then the left there is not something to see. You put iron gate to or the chamber. It is a private house. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you so much. Do we have a caller? Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to the CDC Hour.
Yeah. Well, this is Mohammed Donzo Fofana Jr. And I do join you guys from the Somalia Drive area.
That's here.
Well, my empire this evening is the earlier caller Matthias when he said CDC not got to sit down and wait for 3 years before we start protesting against this government. We shouldn't be lenient. Yeah, I agree with him. We shouldn't sit down and let these guys do that thing in this country. See what happened. See what Richard Wood did. My first time ever I've seen a Capitol building is being blocked with iron gate. What's that? Letting these guys do a lot of reckless in this country and CDC are working. No, that is not working. We got to put things in place. But show action to the people. See what he did. We should have seen that. Put iron gate to the chamber. So speaker officer, what's that? Is he mad or what?
Got a man bedroom there.
Is he mad? What kind of fellows I don't know how to classify them.
Thank you.
What's this? Thank you.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, welcome to the CDC Hour.
Yeah, my name is Neman calling from Charles Maggie.
Let's hear you.
Petekun is taking our horse
and he know that cause for bail. I tell you now, you say born ye. Then he taking iron door to go close that whole place with it. The host a part bail for him, a bedroom, they part bail for him that ate there. Pass him on left inside, tell he left. But what Rachel and Joseph Baka doing to all in this country? Who sue them to God that God will fight our battle. The battle that they bring in front of all in this country, yeah, God will fight that battle for all. We sue them to God. Thank you.
Thank you. Sue them to God. Hello? And the woman said, sue Richard Kuhn and Joseph Baka to God. So the CDC is working around the clock. The CDC is working 24 hours. And that's why the CDC had to be part, leading the convergence of over 4 parties, opposition parties, last week to a meeting at the ANC headquarters where position statements were made as to the way forward. Councillor J. Fonati Kofa is the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and the CDC stands by that as ruled by the Supreme Court. So we're not going to. Do we have a caller? We will stand by the law. We will make sure the government implements the Supreme Court ruling. We will make sure the government uphold the rule of law and the principle of good governance. If not, the government will not rest. The country is for not only the United Party, it's for all other political parties and civil society. It's for everybody. This country is a country of laws. Hello? Let's hear you. Welcome to the CDC Hour. Let's hear you.
You get right. As long as you say, yes, speaker, and you want to go for no. How what do you have a speaker?
Thank you so much.
What you are doing? The people they are Soko. They are Soko. That's all Soko they're doing. That's all Soko they're doing. The face of cooking and what they're doing. The power.
Thank you so much. We go for the last 2 callers and call it a day.
Hello. This is you.
Okay, let's hear you.
The horse and God, the horse and the for God washing us. You know God, if you know God is in and doing, he will stop it. He just see that we like when people were afraid of him. We don't have fear, but past 2 difficult things was who know what is for. So that what they want, they will get it. God is saying we're fighting war for us. Because he's looking for confusion. Because our president of here, he don't get time for foolishness. He didn't get time for all that teenagers. So you just see that Jovia is a friend. Jovia not a friend. Jovia wants peace for us. Because they can't feel we went into the war. So the men are for no bloodshed to waste. But they still hating our foot. When we get us, if they continue doing it, we the women will rise up. As for me, I say already, always already.
Thank you so much. We the women, we are ready, and I, for one, I'm ready. With that, we have come to the end of this program, the CDC Hour. The CDC Hour is a program that comes on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:50 in the evening to 7:50 in the evening. I'm your host, Ishaka Sharif. I see you on Wednesday. Thank you. Bye-bye.